Hi, I'm Catherine Alexander, founder of Bridge to Partnership and the Coming Home Project. I'm a systems thinker dedicated to this shift that we're making and putting us back into right relationship with the earth. Regenerative leadership is a way to do that. And if you'd like to learn more, please visit my website, bridgetopartnership.com, or check out the Coming Home Project. There's a link on my website. So, right relationship, what do we mean when we say right relationship? And I think most people think I want to be a good person to the people around me. And it's way, way deeper than that. I believe that to be in right relationship with someone else, you have to be centered on them, not on yourself. So, other centered in a very real way, really paying attention to the other that you're in relationship with, to see what they need, to understand their gifts, to value their presence, to really be excited about who they are and what they can be, and then working to make as much of that possible as you can. You can't do things for people, but you can certainly create the conditions in which they can flourish. And that's, I think, our responsibility in right relationship. We become responsible for the context in which others thrive. It's an other centered focus. It's very different. It's not coming from what works for us. You have to notice that. You have to pay attention to yourself. It's not a self sacrifice. That's not what it is at all. It's about understanding what you need and truly understanding what the other needs, and then figuring out how to make both things work. Now, sometimes that's in dialogue with the other. Sometimes that dialogue's not possible with a plant or a tree or a river. And so we have to understand what they need and make sure they have it, even though we have needs of our own. And sometimes, just like in all relationships, you have to give up what you want so the other will have what they have. It's a complicated and subtle art, and I do believe it's an art. It's not something you can just think about. You have to feel in your body how you're responding to the ideas that you have, whether it makes you happy, whether it's, yes, that's right, or whether you keep noodling it over because it doesn't quite fit yet. And trust that part of yourself that isn't quite clear about what's correct in this space, if that's the case, and play with it until you can find that spot where it's like, yes, this is it, we can go forward. It is a practice, frankly, and the more you practice it, the better, of course, you'll be at it. So being in right relationship with yourself first is a really good way to start. And you can do that and practice that many times a day very easily by paying attention to what you eat. Is what you eat what you want? Is it complete? Does it fit? Is it right for this time and place? Whatever that is. It could be an ice cream cone for breakfast. Doesn't matter. What matters is that it fits with your body right now. Getting dressed. Are the clothes right? When you go someplace, which way do you go? There are lots of ways to begin to practice that sensing in your own body that helps you see what's correct and right in this time and place for this situation. And when you can do that for yourself, it's much easier to do that with someone else, to be so empathetic and so compassionate at the same time that you can see how you can help, how you can create the conditions. You can't do it for them, but you can create the conditions. Creating the conditions that support the life they are. That's the prime directive. So the prime directive and right relationship are very, very close. You really need to look at both of them at the same time. So right relationship is the way we finesse our way in the world. We want to have rules and we create them And they work mostly, but then there are places where they just don't work, and we know it's not right. And we can't abide by the rules or the law or the tradition or what we've been told or what we've always done. The situation is calling forth something new. And so having the courage and fortitude and the self comfort, self trust to do that is really imperative. So I urge you now to begin to practice with yourself, to begin to feel really comfortable in your own skin, really confident about how you understand yourself, so that when you're in those situations where it's not clear, it could go several ways, or you just have no idea which way it could go at all. You can begin to sense your way through those kinds of things by being in right relationship with the time, the situation, and all the players. As you get good at this, there will become a sort of intuitive sense. You'll kind of know what needs to be done. And then it's a matter of courage and finesse. How can you get it done in a way that will not perturb the surrounding folks quite so much? That too is practice. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But understanding what you're doing, being conscious of that, and actually being willing to play, to take that risk and to test it out to see if it works, and then learn so that you're better at it next time. Oh, if I had thought just a little bit harder, if I'd phrased this a little differently, if I'd waited until whatever, you begin to understand how to have the right information that you need to make decisions about relationships and relationship situations in the moment. But it does take a while to get there. And you have to practice, 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 practice. But you can start with yourself. So thinking more deeply about who you are, being more sensitive and curious and empathetic with others, even when it's hard, even when they're in your face, even when you know they're wrong, even all of those situations, to be able to step back and see what would serve this person in this time in the best and the highest way. And sometimes it's giving in to their misunderstandings or whatever it is, because it's just not appropriate to go deeper at this point in time. And that's okay. Understanding this gives you peace. And that's what's important, that you can go through life's difficulties with a sense of equanimity, not that things are always going the way you want them, or it's always perfect, you get the solution that you'd like to have, or that the best outcome is even achieved. Sometimes that doesn't happen. But if you understand the dynamics of it, it makes it a lot easier to bear. So being in right relationship and knowing that sometimes some things have to be done, not done, given, or taken away for the highest good, for the best of the relationship, for the best growth of everyone involved. So I hope this was useful, and we will talk next week.